What's up, everybody? It is your boy Phelan coming to you from the crib. To be more distinct, the study. When studying doesn't happen. But it's been a little break. Took a break from How to Get Away with the JD around Valentine's Day. Celebrated. Then I got sick. Might have fucked around and been the Rona, but that's a whole nother conversation for a different day. But here we are now, alive and well. Shout out to America. But yeah, no, I got busy and I wasn't able to record like I wanted to, and I had to change production teams. So it's been a whole lot going on. But we're back with a new episode of How to Get Away with the JD, and we are practicing social distancing on this episode. So with me, I have some fellow Mizzou Law students, and I'll let them introduce themselves in a moment. One of the faces should be familiar to you guys if you've stayed tuned in. If you haven't, go back and watch some episodes. It's not that freaking far. But Phelan Simpkins, 2L, at this point I might as well say 3L, from the University of Missouri. And I'll let my guests introduce themselves however they see fit.
Okay, hi. My name is Adatola, or Tola for short. I am also a 2L, or basically a 3L, at the University of Missouri School of Law. Yep, just trying to make it through Zoom University. So, yeah.
And hi, I'm Kristen Evans. I am a 1L. I am from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I too am trying to make it through Zoom University and remain sane, but still get some sunlight. As you can see, I had to come outside, so we're making it through.
Hey y'all, I hope y'all remember me from the first episode of How to Get Away with the JD. It is your boy, Trevor Woodland. I am a 1L, but as you remember, this is my second time around. I made it to the second semester this time, y'all. We are trying to survive this daggone quarantine that Miss Rona has put on us. But hey, that's what we do. We survive and we keep going.
Oh, Miss Rona, a bitter bitty that young lady is. I hate to see it.
Is she?
How is she not? Please tell me how she's not.
Well, I mean, you might have to look to the bright side of some things. Have you been able to do anything?
She came into 2020 running. We never got to see the
I know,
side.
but maybe she did force us all to slow down. And maybe if we do it the right way, we can catch up on things that we haven't done.
That sounds
low key. This quarantine and all this Zoom meeting and all of that stuff, it kind of, truthfully, it might work for different areas of industry, because if you think about it, with maternity leave now, this may help extend maternity leave. You may get your regular maternity leave, and then you get a couple months where you can Zoom in, all that stuff, and then you come back. So that was one thing. I don't know why that was the first thing that popped up in my head when I thought about this, but it provides opportunities for people in other industries and in other schools, you know what I mean? So that's one thing that I was looking at it in terms of the positive.
Okay, I mean, fair. You trying to take paternity leave? Is there something you need to tell us?
I know.
The fact that rolled off your tongue like that fast, I am concerned.
Nah, Trev, just for the people. So, I'm always looking out. I'm always looking out.
For the people.
Yeah, man. I'm a people person. I don't like people, but I do like people,
You know what? I actually felt that
Okay,
in my soul. I actually felt that one in my soul. So true.
Be quiet.
Right, literally preaching to the
right.
Things are unwell. But so today's topic, for those of you tuning in, is literally about Zoom University, as most of, not all of us, have transitioned to in the past. This is what, week 4, maybe?
This week on the 11th will be a month.
See?
We got kicked out of Mizzou Law on March 11th.
See?
We are coming up on our month.
Yeah.
Here's the gag. The day we got kicked out, I had just finished an interview for a witness for a case that I was supposed to present the week after that. You know how pissed I was that I haven't presented, gave the case back. Ain't nobody doing nothing with that damn case. You know how much work I put in that goddamn case?
Yeah.
Actually, let's talk about this. So, for Zoom University, first topic offhand, pass-fail. How do we feel about the pass-fail system? I know some schools have adopted a version of said pass-fail where it's not strictly like all pass-fail. It's either A, B, pass-fail, or you get, well, for the undergrads at Mizzou, they get to choose what they take as pass fail. So some law schools are like that, and then others have a different kind of system. But at the end of the day, most are pass fail. How do y'all feel about that?
So I think having it just mandatory pass fail does kind of even the playing field, because if you did have you could choose what classes you could do as a pass fail and what classes you want to keep, like, you know, an employer can probably be like, oh, well, why did you do this one pass fail and not this one? Is there something that you're hiding? Is there something you want to, you know what I mean? So now there's that air of doubt that they have against you as a candidate. And then for me personally, I'm in favor of it, because I'm in favor of the mandatory pass fail, because it gives me, it lessens the load, or lessens the pressure for me to, you know, get to the second year, because me coming in with this year, I already had a lot of stuff against me. So if I can take one more thing off of me, I'm cool. And usually, from what y'all have told me, classes 2 a year, they're usually a little bit easier because you get to choose them. And if they giving me the first semester of 2 a year to get everything right, I'm cool.
So can we like just clarify that for 1 second? It is easier in a sense that you are more focused on what you want to do. And so it's like you're working towards your goal, but I feel like it's a lot more busy work than it necessarily needs to be.
That's what I need. I need busy work.
Okay, so then that may be better for you, but some people, you know, may not be able to. I am some people too. I feel that way.
It's me. I am people. No. Krista, how do you feel?
I have mixed reviews about pass fail.
Mix us in.
I mean, given the circumstances, I'm not against it, because that does take a load off of people, especially now because my motivation is starting to go down. Yes, it's starting. I was high at first. But in the same sense, it does kind of put me in a pickle, because it doesn't give me a chance to boost my GPA. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but when I apply to jobs next year for my 2L year, my last summer, they're only going to be able to see and take into consideration my first semester of law school grades. They can't see that I've done any improvement until much later. So I don't know how they're going to hold that against me. I'm sure they're going to take into consideration the circumstances, but that's not every employer. So that's like one of my biggest concerns about it, is if all employers are going to show some sort of leniency because of that.
True. Tola, thoughts, feelings?
I am also kind of like in the middle of it all too, because I do feel like it's very accommodating, especially they're taking into account the different mental health and the different circumstances and backgrounds that everybody has to deal with during this point in time, because it is a very scary and a very real situation. And I feel like the reality of it keeps being reintroduced every time, you know, it gets closer to home, or we hear something, or we hear like, oh, a grocery store or whatever is being closed down. But at the same time, looking at how that, I guess, plays on us in the long run, it's a little disheartening, because like Kristen said, that is what employers are going to be looking at. And a lot of times, some people really just don't care, because at the end of the day, they want the best of the best. So they're looking at the past. Like, if you were the best in the past, there's less chance that you're not going to be the best or on that now. And like you said, they might not take into account, you know, hey, I mean, I have the grades to show, but I can show you via other things that I have improved. But I don't know. I'm in the middle as well.
I mean, I definitely am in the middle. You've all heard how I feel. The gunner has jumped out of my body this semester because, and I never thought this would happen. I took classes strategically that this semester would be the semester, because I mean, my GPA and my class rank went up last semester, but this was really supposed to be the semester where it was just like, catch me if you can.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we're strictly pass fail, it kind of like invalidates clinic a little bit for me, because that's a 6 credit hour class, and I was going to get an A, or the version of A for us in the class, which is obviously going to help. Ed law, I would have done pretty well if not an A. Criminal justice administration, up in the air. Bottom line of B. Bottom line of B, and I could have lived with it. The only class where I'm okay with the pass fail, to be honest with you, is con law, because it's the wild, wild west in that damn class anyway. And there's days when I used to sit down, I used to be like, huh? Commerce, power, no, like, honestly, if we got to choose, that would have been the only class I would have picked as pass-fail. So, like, here we are now. But to Trevor and Kristen's point, I do think it's kind of unfortunate for 1Ls because y'all only have one set of grades for people to judge. And in your 2L year, most of the important interviews, depending on what you want to do, most of the important interviews are in that first semester, well, the summer, depending on what Rona looks like, and in that first semester. So for employers to know that some schools, because not all schools are strictly pass-fail, some of them have like the hybrid method or what may have you, kind of puts you at a little bit of a disadvantage. Even if the ones understand, they still see these other grades and it's just like, well, I can justify picking the guy who got a 70 over the person who got a pass, and I don't really know what the pass was. So it's a slippery slope, but I'm interested to see how because this is going to change like the landscape of this profession moving forward, if not most other things that are related to the law. So I'm really interested to see how this year plays out. But I also feel bad for people because of this, and like the pass-fail and the Rona, who lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Because there are some people who went through the interviews, did all of that, and their jobs hit them up maybe not too long ago and said, or still in the process of figuring it out, just like, sorry, we don't have a program. Like, I'm fortunate enough where State Farm has blown up my phone almost every other week, and they're like, hey, no, we're good. We might start remote and then transition you guys in, but like not everyone has that. And so for people who don't even have a job, if they can't find one this summer, then employers are going to be like, well, where was your job? Like, maybe I'm a negative Nancy. Maybe that's what it is. And
because I don't think they're going to be like, where's your job? They're going to be like, oh, snap, Corona happened in March. That's why you don't have it.
Maybe, but then like, okay, so here's my devil's advocate to that. For the people, because they may not know like every person's experience or whatever. So like I have a job, let's say I was the one and I had this job and then someone else didn't have a job. And if I'm going up against them, they're like, oh, I see you worked here. Okay, how did you like that experience? For the other person, it's like, so what you do? Like, what, like, I obviously have a darker mentality than most.
No, I like understand that too, because I feel like that's where I'm kind of sitting this summer, as in I have my applications out and everything, and a lot of the places I wanted to work are outside of the sphere that is Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, even places in Missouri that I've applied have hit me back like, hey, we kind of have to like stop our whole interview process, stop everything right now just until all this settles and clears. And you know, the last thing I heard was maybe like mid-April, but I'm afraid as that approaches, especially since we're still technically on lockdown until April 28th, 29th,
30th.
that I'm about to just be a sitting duck this summer. That's actually a real and scary thought.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about mine yet.
Okay, so I'm gonna say you two have jobs like solidified.
Oh, yeah, mine is straight. He emailed us and was like, yo, like as of right now, everything is still going on. You know what I mean? Like here's all the other interns' emails address so y'all can like email each other and get to know each other and stuff like that. And like with me, in terms of like how you were saying, like with one person who has a job coming into interview with somebody else who doesn't, I've been in a lot of interviews, like even regular jobs. Like one summer, just like regularly, I was home and I applied for 33 jobs. And shut up. And 32 of them, I applied for 33 jobs and 32 of them denied me. So it's like, and I didn't have any experience, but that one that did accept me, they was just like, hey, it was at Kroger, and it was just like, hey, come work. I was like, all right, cool. Like I just needed a job just to get some money. So I think with me, I just come in with a different mindset. Like the job that I was blessed enough to have, thanks to Kristen giving me the information, that interview was probably the easiest interview I've ever had. And like it was just comfortable. And it might've been because I was from Detroit, and that's kind of how I just got in and start talking about that. But like, she didn't ask me about my GPA or nothing like that. It was just more so like a conversation. So because of that, and because of like the rejection I have had in the past, not just with regular jobs, but with internships and stuff, my mindset is just different coming into interviews. Cause it's like, If they reject me, they reject me. I don't want to be somewhere that's going to reject me anyway. Like, nah, I'm cool. If they accept me, thank you. You're taking a chance on me. I'm loyal to you regardless. You know what I mean? So I'll be straight. Like, I ain't going to win everything. So, you know, like with my hair, hey, God had to take something from me so everybody can.
I hate you.
Oh my. Oh my.
I'm dead.
Feel me?
No, but that actually does bring up a really good point. GPAs. I mean, like, not even just like big law jobs, like other jobs will harp on the fact like you have to be the top 10%, you have to have this certain GPA in order to apply or like get the job. With this now happening, I think, or it at least should go to show that those barriers shouldn't exist in like
Ever.
trying to get somewhere, because just because, and I've said this before, I actually think I said this when I was with Trev in the last episode, because just because you have like the top 10% of the class, or like this person has like a 3.0 or whatever the hell that is in our scale, doesn't mean that that's the most qualified person for the job. That just means that they're good at classwork. Not everyone can work the way that they need to. And I think with this happening, though it's very unfortunate, and the way that it's been handled is arguably piss poor, but that's a conversation for a little later. I do think that it should challenge other like employers to really think about their hiring criteria and what really does matter, because you can have a student who may not be that great in class, like may not know property, but outside of that, like their work ethic, crazy dumb stupid, and you can get a lot out of them, and then they can bring a lot to you. So I just really think that moving forward, this is what, like, employment specifically is going to be something that this whole Zoom University Corona nonsense of 2020, the great Corona-scape, will influence highly.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add to your point about the employers in the top 10%. For people watching, even though that may be what the application says, if that's something that you really want to do and you think you can do well in that position, apply. It doesn't matter if you're in the top, middle, or bottom, still apply, because you don't know what's going to happen. They may say no, but they also may say yes. So I wouldn't say don't let that discourage
That's a really
you.
good point. That's how I got to know.
And look, harking off of those two, Kristen and Trevor's, like, apply anyways, because you learn from each of those rejections. You learn from all of those situations. You learn what not to do. You learn how to approach those situations, how to approach an interview. And then you never know who's going to say yes, or you never know who's going to turn around and give you a call and be like, hey, you know what? We may have overlooked this. We want you a part of the team, so forth and so on. So honestly, don't cut your blessings short. Don't do it.
That's not to say don't do the work, but
that part.
Period.
Still try. Still do the work. Still try to make good grades, but don't block your opportunities.
So with this being the episode entitled Zoom University, I have to ask the question, how has you all's transition specifically been going to from in class to this video chat nonsense thing we are doing?
Let me just go ahead and tell you now, it's been a rough transition. Today, class started at 9 a.m. I was awake at 8:59. Thank God the professor decided he didn't want to start class until what time, Trev? Like 9:04. So I at least had a little bit of time to get like a semblance of my essence together, because I was on the struggle bus, crossing the I's and all. It's hard when you don't have anywhere that you're planning to go. So you literally just got to get up, walk, and do a lap around your room, and then sit back down at a desk. Like, this is so depressing. I am so sorry, y'all.
So real.
Take it away.
That's real. That is real.
It's hard. You're not in that mental state to go somewhere to like be productive. You're literally going back to your room. So I don't know.
I started off pretty motivated. I was like, I don't have to try hard. I can just roll right up and go to class. I can cover my camera. They can't see me, and it'll all be fine. I don't say much anyway in class. But then now, I guess, because it's almost coming up on a month, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm very unmotivated, and it takes me a lot longer to get started now. And I've seen every nook and crevice, every bit of whatever is in my apartment. There's nothing new. There's no new scenery. I'm tired of it. coming out here is nice and all, but there's really like a huge bumblebee right here that I'm really trying to remain calm doesn't come over here. And it has a few times, but you can't tell because I'm really calm.
Is it a regular bumblebee? They harmless. They ain't gonna sting you, bro.
And then I have a desk in my other room, but like, I'm tired of looking at this stuff. I'm just tired.
That's cool. Yeah.
Like me, like I had told y'all before. Well, first of all, like that first week, I was in class with my do-rag on every day. That first week, I didn't care. I was like, all right, whatever. All right, class started.
Wait, with the camera on or off?
On, B, come on. It's Trev. Come on.
on.
Like, you're gonna see this white do-rag and this baby blue do-rag and this black do-rag that I got on. So that first week, I didn't care. Like class started at 9. I'm waking up at 8:55, stuff like that, yo. And then like Dean Mitchell like emailed us a couple things, and I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense. So that second and third week, that second week, because this is technically the third week. So that second week, or is this whatever? That second week, I started to try to get up earlier, try to like get dressed and stuff like that. It kind of worked, it kind of didn't work. And then that next week, I kind of got tired of that, but I was still making sure I got up at least 30 minutes before the class started, because that would be enough time for me to kind of wake up, wash my face, you know what I mean? Not necessarily eat unless I'm really hungry, get an apple, and I can actually grab my stuff and just like, you know, be here. But after class, that was really getting to me, because like I told y'all before, like coming into this year, I knew that I couldn't do schoolwork at home. So y'all can speak for me always being at the library. That's just what I did. That's where I knew that I can at least not be as distracted and try to get at least a little bit of work done. But here, it's not possible, man. Just the fact that I'm in my apartment, that's, you know, that I relax in, it's difficult for me to actually do schoolwork. But, you know, I'll figure it out and I'll get to it. It's just, I love TV, and I didn't have time to watch it during the regular semester, and now I got all the time to watch TV. I've been watching Scrubs. I'm on season 6 of Scrubs. It is such a good show, and I love it, and I always have loved it, and I'm having the time of my life.
Oh my! Wait, Trev, didn't you win a free study room in the library?
Yes, bro, and I was using it, bro, and I was getting stuff done.
I'm pretty sure they'll extend it. They gotta extend it for like next month.
They gotta give it to you in the fall. Like, that's just how GP.
If you go back in the fall.
Yeah, she might be like, hey, just keep it. I'm like, all right, cool. Because, like, bro, I was using it. I was getting stuff done, bro. And then they canceled it. I'm like, ah.
Wait, Kristen, I heard what you said. And don't put that. Don't do that.
Say?
I don't want it.
Back in the fall.
I said if we go back in the fall.
Don't do that.
What you mean if?
Ain't no if, bro. This Rona gotta go.
Like,
I need a mighty discount if
that means we all gotta get it, bro. We coming back.
Well, wait. Now, if I didn't have it already, I don't want it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Please wait.
Coming back to class. Give me that Rona.
That ain't it, Trev.
No.
But look, one thing I will say about Zoom University is it's instilled, I guess, somewhat of a routine, and it's created more of like this active self-care journey that I wanted to go on, I guess, because with sitting at home, especially reading your books and doing nothing else, you are going to drive yourself crazy. So like me and my roommate, we started running on the trails. It's a great way to social distance, not run into a lot of people. We play tennis, like fun things, fit it into the schedule, because it also keeps the brain, I guess, just active and moving. Like it does get very depressing to sit up in the same apartment every single day. And incorporating breakfast, because honestly, I wasn't eating breakfast before. I was not going to class, or I was not eating until it was dinner time. Now,
cannot wait. Good sit.
Okay, pause. I said it's self-care, self-love. We're working on it. But you know, like when you're busy and you're just going through everything, sometimes you literally just forget. And then it's like, oh, shoot, did I eat something today? I need to eat something.
No, that's totally real. I think, personally, Zoom University has been quite the, I'm just gonna have to put the explicit up on this one, quite the bitch, because my heavens, which is funny because I used to work from home before I came back to law school. Like for the 2 years when I was out and I had a full-time job, part of my job was working from home. Computer setup, desk setup, like phone, like all that. 20 times more productive working instead of going to school online. And I mean, to be fair, I also don't turn my camera on in any of my classes. And to my defense, the only reason I don't is because most of my classes are discussion classes, and I could barely control my face in class. Now that I have the luxury of being at home, I'd prefer not for you to see, like when somebody says, oh, racial discrimination and disparities, I prefer you not to make me say,
you got to do it through your nose. I just flare my
it doesn't
nose.
work. Like I try to like control it, but then they keep going, and I'd be like,
I'm showing you my face.
and then you like want to jump in and click. So it's just like I cut the middleman out. Like I don't do it. But I really think it's hard for me to focus because I just don't. Where's my motivation? Now that we're 1, online, 2, pass fail. You think I'm making an outline for a class? Sorry, if anybody plans on making an outline, please.
Don't listen to
Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta
told us he was like, y'all should still do it.
For me,
But that's a good point.
like I don't feel motivated to do the things that I would have done if this was a full semester, or if they're like if things were different. Let's just say if things were different.
Mhm.
Like right now, before I even got on this to like do this episode, you want to know what I was doing instead of getting prepared for my presentation tomorrow on my
Something on
prosecution clinic?
Netflix.
Even worse. I was going down the rabbit hole of old school music videos on YouTube.
I'm dead. You hit up that 2000s playlist?
I was in that good bad boy deep. Like I may have been on video 50.
I'm dead.
Like the motivate, it's just not there. And then when I'm in class, I was like, well, I'm just gonna read, because like one of my classes we have like assigned for people to do like certain readings or problems, and so I read my problem or my reading and I'll shut my ass up until it's time to hop on. Like there's no, it's quite ghetto here.
See, the one thing I'm going to say that keeps me a little motivated is, even if it is pass fail, no matter what, I still have to know this stuff in 2 years. So that's the only reason why I can still stay somewhat motivated and do an outline, because I don't want it to be my 3L year and I've graduated. I don't have an outline for crim law. And that's the profession. I mean, that's the route I want to take in law. So that's my personal thing that keeps me a little bit motivated.
I said, if anyone's watching this and they have like a criminal practice or anything.
Well, in my camera, you pointing to me, and I'm doing
in my camera, Kristen's up here, so we're gonna shake.
Where you point to?
We're gonna shake this way. I think it records
me. No, I heard.
And then the other thing that you said, like, I didn't mind staying at home. I was kind of a homebody. I've never turned that way, but I was. But the fact that I'm at home and I cannot go anywhere, and it's not that I can't go anywhere without being paranoid that I might catch something, or have to come home and scrub my hands and wash. Like, it's just so much anxiety and paranoia that's what makes this whole thing even worse.
I feel that.
Another thing about being home all the time, like I love being home because of the TV watching. So like I'm cool with being here, bro. Oh, it is beautiful, yo. And then when I do go out, I don't touch nobody anyway. So I'll punch somebody before I touch somebody.
The grocery store, that's about it.
Good contact.
Yeah, but hey, remember when we went to the grocery store? Told Louie, I barely touched something. I ain't touched nobody.
It's very true.
I feel bad for the professors though. And this goes into
they low key might be struggling more than we are.
Like as a student, I understand. Again, this is just gonna have the explicit warning. I understand we bitch and moan about a lot when it comes to like the transition and going to online and wanting refunds for this, that, and the third. But those poor professors, like a lot of them have not had to conduct anything with this much technology in their life. Like this whole video and recording and posting, like it's a lot for a lot of them. And for them to have for most universities have only had like maybe 1 to 2 days worth of training for the professors, is just like you literally threw them to the fire, which I think is personally crazy, but so is the times. So this does beg a question. Do you think that after this, more law schools would either offer online classes or more tech-based things or tech-incorporated things with their class offerings?
I definitely feel like they're going to, and I feel like I'm saying this more from a bias perspective just because I'm taking like online dispute resolution as a course itself. And a lot of that is to, I guess, mitigate the issues that may come from things like this, where people can't like they can't meet, but they can meet on a virtual platform. Well, this is something that is, I guess, taking over in the sense of resolution, dispute resolution. And so in order to properly prepare individuals for what is honestly to come, and there's evidence to say, i.e. right now, that that is the direction that we're going towards, they're going to start incorporating it into, law school curriculum, even if it's like not something mandatory, but probably they could have their professors, utilize, okay, I want at least 3 of your courses to be conducted via online Zoom or whatever. But I honestly feel like there's no way that we can consciously go back to how it was before all of this, because we've already done so much to immerse all of that change into like our daily routine and schedule.
I think you did like 2 different things.
I
think
did cross-cultural.
Yeah, I think they're going to incorporate more online stuff. Do I think they're going to offer more courses online? No. I think it's still going to create the problem that like you might be stuck in a box and you might not be able to get work done just because you do your classes at home. Even though, actually, no, it might work because then you have access to the library. You can go to the classes online. I don't know. Something about that just doesn't feel right. I just can't.
I don't think it has to be like a standing course on its own. I mean, they do have that, but I feel like they'll start incorporating into the curriculum that they already have.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about, yes, I agree with that. I'm just saying, I don't know if they would actually do a whole curriculum online.
I mean, like for instance,
do more curriculums online.
You know how we have like makeup classes, right? If like a professor has to cancel like something like weather or whatever, instead of having makeup classes or instead of having like those different things, you could easily do a Zoom meeting for like a class if it's during like the winter and we're snowed in and we can't go anywhere. Or you can do like there's now options and you know how to do it to the point where you don't have to revise the syllabus and the schedule like so often to try to catch up with the things you missed or like having to do that. So I think in a way, this is kind of beneficial. It sucks the way it happened because that's something that could help professors like really navigate their schedules and probably cause less stress on students and professors moving forward, especially with some of those rescheduled classes are around midterms and finals.
So I think, like how there are other graduate degrees, like, for example, my old boss, she was in Missouri, but she was going to accounting school for like Syracuse. Like she was doing Syracuse accounting school. That's all the way in New York. So I think there may be some, or at least like me and my brothers were talking about, there may be some aspect of, or an option to offer to people who want to go to a certain law school but can't necessarily get to that place. There may be an online option that they can offer. You see, there's not really an excuse now. We have the capabilities to do it. So I think that may be something that is possible too. Just because you see it's already being done with other graduate degrees. Technically, we're not like other graduate degrees, but in a way, I think that it can still be obtained or achieved through online. And like y'all said, I think they definitely will put more of an effort to probably incorporate some online aspects to classes, like if we have a snow day or if they have to cancel class or something like that. I do think that that's going to happen, but they may also offer an online online JD program to people, just like they do for all other online graduate degrees.
I like my snow days though.
Ain't no excuse to miss class anymore.
Now there's no excuse. And it's not like you can't log in and then not have your camera on because, I mean, obviously.
You don't even need a camera. You could just call in.
Yeah, that's true.
That is also a really good point.
Very true.
But so this would typically be the time in the episode where we take a break for what the fuck? You see, clearly I am struggling with Zoom University. Where we take a break or a word from our sponsors. But why do that? Why do that on a video chat? Like, what's the point? No, I don't really have many sponsors, which is part of the other issue. So if you are interested in sponsoring your boy, help a brother out.
Get him up.
These bills, not cheap. Not being able to work during Zoom University hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, do you still get paid?
Well, I do get my TA check because that's a stipend that comes at the end of the month. So I look, but that's only rent and like utilities. I have other bills too. And I don't work for admissions now because obviously we can't be on campus. But shout out to JR because he did put us in. He approved us to be like temps or whatever. So we get like a few hours. So I do get like a little check. So every penny matters at this point. But either way it goes, if anybody would like to sponsor, we take all sponsorships. We do not pick and choose.
Period.
But for people watching, that's also something that you want to consider when you're looking at schools. In case something like this ever happens again and you have to work, how is your employer going to adapt? Are they still going to pay you, or are you not going to be able to get paid at all?
Oh,
I told you. It's mating season. They over there doing the thing. I'm like, oops, sorry.
Oh, God.
But yeah, my job still pays me in the library. And I just get paid the normal times that I will work during the year. But some people aren't getting that luxury anymore. So something to consider.
Oh, look at you. Well, we're gonna roll into some letters. I had I had put the ask out for people to put like send me how they felt about transitioning to Zoom and all this other stuff. So some letters I will read, others I will not. But let me
cut the ones we don't like.
let me dig into my bag really quick. Well, this one's not really a letter. This one's more of like a commentary, and there's a few of them like this. So I'm gonna just say this one, and it's gonna blanket some of the other ones in here. Zoom University is trash. I do not have the time and or energy to continue to do this anymore. I am a 3L. I'm gonna omit the school. I am a 3L, and I am just ready to graduate. You already canceled my graduation, so why would I bother taking your final? You might as well cancel that as well.
Oh, so we can go with it. Huh?
They are not wrong.
I mean, but no, for real. Like honestly, at that point, if I was a 3L, like a true 3L, and this is like
give me a final.
Leave me alone.
I know. Like I don't want to be bothered.
A final? Nah, bro, you got me messed up.
Yeah.
Like, please.
That is disheartening, though.
Oh, that's so sad. I'm sorry. I am so sorry to you, young man. So sorry.
Made a post that 3Ls, when they started, they had the whole eclipse thing. Mm-hmm. That was the same time the eclipse happened. Oh. And now they're ending their 3L year with this. Oh. And I was like, oh, that eclipse did happen.
The eclipse honestly was the curse. It was a foreshadowed curse to this nonsense that we were currently going through, if we're being honest.
It was cool to look at, though.
Kind of can correct herself.
I mean, did I get to see it? Did I see it? I don't know.
It was in Columbia, because Columbia was like a perfect place to be. And they were passing out like glasses and stuff. And you just
wasn't this during the summertime?
It was like the school had started.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, because I remember there was another eclipse at some point. Me and my sister took a shoebox outside to go look at the sun.
I think that's a lunar eclipse.
You might be right, man.
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. I think this
in law school.
I think this is very appropriate given how you all had to get into this call today.
Mm-hmm.
To the students who pass around links to their fellow friends. It's actually pretty good. How dare you have the audacity to send your friends who, one, probably couldn't afford to go to law school, or two, probably couldn't get in, to my class in order to interrupt it. We don't want to see, I'm going to omit some words, so we don't want to see the nudity that they plan to provide or participate in their nonsense. I'm here for an education, even if it's not the education that I wanted and or paid for. So please take your... I'm just going to say pasty. Take your pasty friends and remove them from my classroom. And if you all feel the need, to continue your activities, do so in your own group FaceTime.
I'm confused why that's a thing.
I genuinely don't get it. Yeah. Like, first of all, I'm not attending a class that's not my own class. I barely want to be in my own classes.
Right.
And then to pop up and like show, okay, wait, pause, let me reset. For people who are listening and probably don't know what we're talking about, there's this thing called Zoom bombing, right? Zoom bombing.
Zoom bombing.
It's like when people send like links to classes to their friends or whatever, and then they just pop in, and some people will show like pornographic pictures or start harassing the professor while they're teaching a class, this, that, and the third.
Using
So
slurs too.
I don't get it.
Like at Mizzou, they were talking about how they use some racial slurs too.
See, that just shows a lack of home training. Like, I don't understand how you, like Phelan said, have that much time on your hands to come up into a class that you know you have no business going into and disrupting everybody's time. Like, time is not free. You're wasting my money and my time at that point. Go do something else productive with your life. Heck, go for a run or go do something outside. We have things to do, and you're just putting our lesson plans behind by Zoom bombing, taking over and doing all that stuff. Now it's even a hassle to get into our Zoom classes to begin with because we have to sit in a waiting room and wait for our teachers to confirm that we are in fact that individual that wants to attend the class. Like, never should it be that difficult. Y'all grow up, please.
And where's the couth? It's just very uncouth.
Uncouth. Unrefined. Uncultured.
Where is the culture?
It's unflavored.
That board, read a book.
Yeah. Or something, bro.
Because y'all are
Get your
very
Bibles out.
Read a book.
Read a book for real.
Read a Bible.
Fucking book. I will bring that back.
This anger is real. It's unfiltered anger because like there's really no excuse, no justification.
There's
like
none.
just as dumb as the time that people would go into the grocery stores and start licking things and putting it back on the counter. You ain't got no business doing that. Stop it.
I honestly believe that started the wrong.
Yes.
That could have been it. Mother Nature said y'all play too much, so I'm gonna play back. And she did.
You gonna
Here
use the
we are.
bathroom and not wash your hands? Bet. Here. I got one for that. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
Time,
I'll
like
do one more. Ooh. Okay, so y'all pick. There is one that deals with paint.
back up.
There's one that deals with paint drying. And there is another one that deals with pets.
Ooh, I like pets. I vote pets.
I don't have pets, but that's fine.
Can we do both?
Why not do both? Why not? We ain't got nothing but time.
We ain't got nothing else to do.
We ain't got nothing but time, clearly. I'm going to start with the pets because they got the most votes, apparently.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, I do got something to do. I could be watching Scrubs, but
okay, calm down. This is, we're giving you a break from your addiction, clearly. So they worded the letter to Truman. For those of you who don't know who Truman is, that is this lovely young individual.
It ain't all that.
Oh, but
he was
why?
named after the president, Harry S. Truman. The S doesn't stand for anything. S is his middle name.
I'm sorry to that man. Who is that man? I don't know that man. To Truman, I know that you are probably sick and tired of me being at home because you had a life of your own. I know there are days where you wake up and look at me and wonder, what is this girl still doing here? Why is she in my space? Should she not be somewhere right now? She's normally not here. And I am sorry. Thanks to the good sister Rona, I am not the good sister Rona. Thanks to the good sister Rona, I am stuck at home and we are now friends. I know that is not what you signed up for, and I apologize for the inconvenience that this may cause. True. You know what?
Oh, did you write that?
You said the who right there?
Oh,
No, that was not me.
That sounds like something you would say.
you would say.
I mean, it was hidden though. Y'all should have saw me nodding in agreement. I was like, "Amen, preach." Tell
Like
it.
low key, I feel like cats are looking at their owners like, bro, why are you here? But dogs are like, hey, you're here. Yes, you're here.
No, I think dogs are tired.
No, my cat is
Because
tired.
they could do stuff when their owners were gone. Now they can't get away with nothing, and now their owners are just all in their face.
I think Coffee little, but for y'all watching, Coffee is our friend Bree's dog. He's cute. He be a little annoying, but he cute. I know he is so happy that Bree is home.
Oh, absolutely.
He's so happy. But Hui, how is Hui treating it, Tola? He's just chilling, like, all right, you stay over there.
He's tired of me. He said, I see you about every day, every hour. I didn't sign up to be your best friend. I signed up to be your pet, and
Literally.
I'm tired. Period. Pet. Period.
Like, this is not a full-time job. There are breaks that are required, and you're intruding on my break. Get the hell out
Right.
of here.
He said, I only expected to see you during feeding times. I don't know what this is. I'm sorry. You know, cats like their own space after a while. He's like, I see you way too much.
Did I lose it? Okay, no, I found it. Okay, and then the other letter,
Mhm.
which is my personal favorite. So I probably was going to read both anyway.
Mhm.
What's worse, you ask? Paint drying or listening to one of my classmates talk about their racial disparity as a white person?
I'm gonna have to go.
Run it back.
What's the plight? I want to know what the plight is.
You know, let's get into it, shall we? The other day, I was sitting in class with my camera on, and I asked myself, what are we talking about? Why am I here? Not why am I here? Why am I here? And is there something I could be doing with my time that would be more productive than this? You know, honestly, side note,
No.
I've probably asked myself that question in 2 classes. Can't even fake. But anyway, until there was this one day though, I noticed that we were talking about mass incarceration of minorities, minorities in America.
I don't have any more drink.
Right, hey, I'm moving forward. Every time I do a Zoom, one of these for the podcast, I might have to have me like a glass of wine for some of these.
Yeah.
But I noticed.
Hey, Tola, I've been peeped.
I noticed that we were talking about mass incarceration, and my classmate brings up, I can't help but to realize that this is the conversation that is always had when it comes to minorities as a defense for them being in prison or overly prisoned, and I was confused.
How you gonna get mad when you bring up facts?
I just saw something in this letter that is now my favorite part of this letter. I wanted to turn my microphone on and say, bitch, please, how dare you, when your daddy alone has put over 100 black men in jail, and I'm not even gonna name the state. I'm not even gonna name the state because it's getting real messy.
Mm-hmm.
So let me amend. 100 black men in jail, I'm just gonna say on his own. The only reason you feel this way is because your privilege doesn't allow for you to skate by on this topic as somebody who is guilty of such things and such crimes, and your family has a long-standing legacy of. Please miss me with this. Even if we were in class, I would give you the same treatment, but now that we are further away, I truly no longer have to see you, and since we will not be crossing the stage together, I would like to give a big, hearty, feeling that.
All right, well,
That might be that might be my new favorite letter.
Hey, I'm with it. I'm with all that energy.
Then, because are they mad that somebody brought facts to the discussion? Because of course facts get repeated. So I'm just confused as to why they're upset.
First of all, I don't understand how you can feel comfortable saying anything on that topic. I feel like that's one of those topics where you just kind of have to sit there and just like,
Unless you for the cause and have facts to support it. Shush.
Right.
Unless you can show me otherwise.
Matters.
I don't know, Chief.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know if I can support that one.
Yeah.
But
especially if you ain't lived in the communities that and you can see, like, gee, when I was growing up in Southwest Detroit, like I could see that stuff happening, bro. Like that, it ain't like why are y'all why y'all got so many police here? What's going on? We ain't doing nothing but walking down the street. What's up? Hello.
So I have a question then to my Zoom peers. With this, because I guess that that letter just made me curious then, do you guys fear or at least have some concerns that individuals may start to get a little bit more bold? And I don't want to say like blatantly ignorant, but like kind of teeter along the line of ignorance just because they're no longer in that classroom setting where they may feel in certain situations they have to hold their tongue, and they may feel like, okay, I'm in the safety of my own home. I can talk. I can express myself however I want in my own domain. So let me therefore get a little bit extra loose lipped or whatever.
Yeah.
People always
think
want to
there's-
get bolder when they're not in front of you. When they do it
think
over
there's-
the phone, through text and all that.
Yeah, I think that there's two types of cowardly people. There's cowardly people who are just going to be cowardly regardless. They're going to think these things, but they're not going to say anything regardless of proximity. And then I think there are the cowards, like Kristen said, like they not tough or they don't say nothing in person, but when they got that barrier, they'll let it loose. And it's like, so I think there's always that with this Zoom stuff going on, there's always some sort of possibility every class that somebody's going to say something that in real life would get them smacked in the face.
You know,
Smack hard. Let's make that clarification.
I would like to say no, it's not gonna happen, and people have common sense. But then common sense isn't too common, so
Yep.
Don't
Not too
lose your
common.
mannerisms in quarantine, y'all.
please don't do it.
Don't.
Bryson Tiller.
Truly, I'll disrupt the whole class, bro. I don't care. I'll disrupt it. I'll be like, I'll press the space bar. I'll be like, wait a minute.
Now hold the hell up.
Professor, but we not jokes. We just not gonna let that slide.
Right.
I'll do it. I don't care.
Very ghetto. Well, thank you all for sending in your letters. If anybody has other letters on things that they would like to send in regarding Zoom University, their law school experience, 3Ls, if you have any feelings towards being not able to go graduate, excited to go get out in the field. Also, another interesting topic, 3Ls, if you want to write in on, is getting diploma privileges instead of having to take the bar. You can send all those into Alexander the Great, ALEXANDER. Yeah, I can't spell my own name. THEGREAT pod, Alexander the Great pod at gmail.com. And I will read those and you might get your letter read on one of the live podcasts. You know, we'll see what happens.
Aiden's famous, so you know, you might go places with this.
Don't do that. I am not famous.
Famous.
If I was famous, I'd have
I'd ask about
a
him.
dream job, but alas, here we are, grinding and hustling.
Last I check, you still have time for that. So
anyway, I feel attacked. I feel like yesterday I felt attacked on that live, and now today I feel attacked yet again.
Just had tears.
Whatever. Well, we are ending the near of this episode, and so before we always get off, I always ask my guests if they have anything that they would like to share with pre-law students or current law students in terms of like advice, something you wish you would have known, anything like that. So we'll start with the 1Ls, starting with Kristen.
Pre-law students, I will go back to what I said before. Make sure that you're following up with your schools that you're interested in and asking them the necessary questions about how they would adjust to things like this, what they can offer you. Like Mizzou offered a lot of refunds on certain things, so make sure that that's an option if you need it. 1Ls, I would say you're going to be attorneys. This is not going to hold you back from being an attorney. That's for 2Ls and 3Ls as well. Just keep pushing through and doing the best that you can, and it's still going to be rewarded in the end.
Trev, it's your second go around.
Second go around, bang, 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 bang. So I'm gonna piggyback off of what Kristen said, and I'm just gonna speak on just communication. That's the general thing. Communication is going to be key in a time like this, especially when you don't have motivation to do other things. That communication and getting responses and things from people is going to get that motivation kick started. If you respond, if you reach out to a school that you're interested to and they get back to you, that's going to motivate you to do more in order to get to that school. If you're a 1L and you are reaching out to your professors about different things, getting that response back or setting a Zoom meeting, a one-on-one Zoom meeting is going to force you to kind of get up and make sure everything is right by the time you get that Zoom meeting or whatever it may be. So communication is going to be very key. And then regardless of school, just communication with your friends. Like you're going to need to communicate with your friends in order to maintain that sanity because you can't see your friends like how you could before. So pre-law, 1L, 2L, 3L, communication with professors, with each other, all of that. Just keep that in mind.
Young Tola.
So I like that. I'm the new YT. period. But I'm definitely a huge advocate of the self-love, self-care movement, just because that is one thing I learned was extremely important my first year, and honestly my first semester of my second year in law school, because it's so easy to lose sight of all that. So just with all of this going around, if you guys like struggle with anxiety, if you struggle with anything, just take a deep breath, meditate, make sure you're picking up healthy routines and healthy habits, and you're incorporating that into your reading schedule as well, because it will give you that peace of mind and will give you that extra boat of energy necessary in order to successfully complete your day to entirety without feeling groggy, without struggling to wake up and all of that stuff. It's just very important. So, I mean, that would be my only bit of advice to you guys, is just find something that's a great hobby and stick with it as you go on this journey.
That's beautiful. I've been giving you all enough advice, but I feel like since I've been gone for like a month and a half, I have to say something now. I think one piece of advice, at least given the landscape of like what law school currently looks like, is you can literally do anything. Like, honestly, at this point, you can kind of do it all. Nobody thought that we would have to go from in-person class to online class and adjust and do like this. And clearly, though we complain, we're still doing it. So you all can literally do just about anything you set your minds to. So for my pre-law students, when you get here, it's at this point, you've done probably the hardest thing up until that point that you could do. So make sure that when you become a 1L, that you're focused on what got you to the place that you're in and do the necessary steps to keep you where you're going, and don't let people get in your ears. And then for my actual current law students, as you progress to 2L, 3L, and into practice, I think, you're obviously dope. And if you're not gonna work into your contracts, I need to work from home at least one day a week, I think you did not take advantage of this the right way, because I surely plan on throwing that into my stipulations to wherever I work. So yeah, no, I think that everyone has done the hardest part up to now, and you literally can just about do anything. So I would like to thank my lovely guests for taking the time out of their day to come hang out with me via Zoom. Social distancing practices, we couldn't do what we normally do on the show, but I appreciate seeing all their lovely faces because it's been a while. And I want to thank you guys for listening. Make sure you guys tune in. Now that we're on quarantine, I can actually do an episode every other week because I have the time and I'm in pretty somewhat decent spirits when I go back to watch my Netflix and other things. So yeah, make sure you guys stay tuned to more episodes of How to Get Away with the JD. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube for the visual portion, and you can listen anywhere you get your podcast, Apple Music, Spotify, so on and so forth. And follow us on Twitter at ATG_media. All right, guys, until next time, peace. We appreciate you.